What up, everyone? My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. Welcome to your Thursday recap. I'll lower this just a little bit. Listen, just in case there's a Frosty near you, you're allowed to grab a Frosty. I'll give you permission. Tell your spouse that Red Dog says you could do it. I'll give you 10 seconds. 10 seconds to enjoy the music for a second while you run and get your Frosty. Red Pup, you know the song? You're a little too old. Your parents probably like it, right? Oh, Red Pup knows the song. All right, Red Pup, the beauty of having a left-hand man is, Red Pup, I need another one. Remember, what happens in the recap stays in the recap. I won't tell on you, you don't tell on me. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to open up a Slighty Mighty. Gracias. Cheers to you. Putting up with my crap. Hopefully making some money, so you know what? Part of the process and having some fun. So another new high today. A lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff happening across the board. Lots of ways to act fast. Lots of ways to, put positions on, take them off, use it to your system. Look for some volume sifters, some day ones, some this, some that. You can laugh, you can cry, but you can complain. If you complain, nobody's gonna listen. I'm not gonna listen. No. Complain to your dog. Your dog will always listen. Might perk up a little bit, but anyway. So let's really quickly just go look at that. The S&P. Hey, so I know I came in this week with some risk down, right? Because we had that Thursday little okay, we're a little weaker, and then you had your Friday move to the 21-day. So I was like, I don't feel like being so long on a holiday weekend. Let me just have 11 longs. Woke up on Tuesday, futures are up 150, gave us ways to get back involved, and ever since been managing a pretty big extensive portfolio approach again, which I try and post to you guys as much as possible. This is what I went home with. All different types of names. Some names that I've been in for weeks, some I've been in for months, some I started today, some I was in from yesterday, some gave me day ones when Netflix came out, some option plays, I sold some puts, sold some, playing some call spreads. I'm doing a lot of everything. So listen, guys, I've been doing this for 22 plus years, so I do not expect that you could do it all the way I'm doing it. Because I wasn't able to do all this stuff, multiple years ago. Literally like 3 years ago, my portfolio approach was like 3 to 5 positions, and that was like a little nerve-wracking. So if your portfolio is 1 to 3 positions, congratulations. Especially if you weren't able to carry things, months or years ago or weeks ago. So it's all a process, and it's all based on your own skill sets, not on anybody else. For me, I've been evolving and trying to do more, because I know it's actually an interesting question from Red Pup. He's like, don't you get upset when you look at something like a BFT or a TIGR that you sold and it continues to go? I'm like, Red Pup, you want to talk about my dead squirrel from when I was in high school? That was a very sad occasion too, but we won't revisit there. I'm like, no, but seriously, what happened was I really, as your chief strategic officer, I really started to, for years I've been writing my note, I've been putting it out there, and people around the world have been reading it, and for years people have been making a hell of a lot more money on my note than me, based on their own skill set. So finally, after so many years, I've really, I guess, got into my groove where I've just evolved. And now, I remember the last 10 years of my Redler All Access report. I do write a report with 22 names. And for the past 5 years, I'm like, frick, if I would have just taken my trading account, just my $5 million, whatever it was then, and put a portion in all 16 of my names then, or 12, whatever it was, this year was 22, and proportioned it out, I would do a hell of a lot better than how much I make in trading. And I made a healthy living trading. And I'm not going to get into how much that is, but a healthy living, where I made 7 times the average of my past decade last year. So that's a good year. But anyway, a lot of work. So, I started to think about all the things that I've said and all the things that happened and how I handled it. So I start to work on my process. How could I do better? How could I grow? How could I evolve? How could I take more shares? How could I hold longer? How could I have more positions? I remember back in the day, you could actually Google it. Google Scott Redler, Mark Haynes, a gold bold call. A gold bold call. I think it was in 2008. After I geared up through the whole financial crisis, Mark Haynes would be on with me all the time, and it was crazy. God bless his soul, because he would always call me out, because a trader, I'm like, if this, then that. Uh-oh, Mikey's going to yell at me. Oh, Mikey just said your average pick is up 20% year to date in the report. Isn't that? So as I'm talking about it too, there you go. Actually, we should show the blueprint of it at this point. It's January 21st. You could see. That's up to my my editor. So anyway, so at this point though, I wrote my report, and and I had my 21 or 22 picks. I came into the year with like 25 names, and Peter, who's one of my partners, is like, holy shit. He's like, you finally decided to put all your positions into, and trade them while after your, during your report and through the first few weeks. I'm like, not really. These are just all the positions that I'd like. And so that's why they're in the report, because if I like them, typically they're going to work, I would think. That's how good I am. No, I'm kidding. I'm pretty damn friggin' good. Anyway, so this, 3-week time period, it's January 21st, and I've had my best start in 3 weeks after having my best quarter of my career, because I'm evolving. So I wound up being in all the positions that I liked because there was a reason for them. Writing about it, why not be in it? So anyway, back to where you were at. It takes a long time to get there. Go slowly, go step by step by step by step by step. Use the tools and tactics, of how I use my tier system for you to, do your day trading. I do day trade a few things here and there. There's definitely ways to figure out what I'm day trading, what the pivots are, where I'm looking for a red dog reversal, what's happening. And we're going to figure out ways to isolate some more of those, because I do know that some of you guys have only been trading for a year or 2 years or 3 years, and you want to be able to see a little bit more what to do on a cash flow basis. Because for the first 7 years of my career, or the first 3 years, I made money coming in flat, and I would make probably 90% of my money between 8:30 and 11:30 every single day. By 11:30, I'd kind of be done, and then if I could go to the gym, come back, and tack a few things on, that's what I would do. Let's see, was something going down? No, just misprint. So anyway, I don't know why I'm doing a monologue right now. I feel like when I drink a beer, I like to have diarrhea of the mouth, but I think you can learn a little things that I say, or a few things. Oh my goodness, there's a dead squirrel. B. Davis is messing with me. Is that TIGR? Is that BFT? Is that names that I sold early? That's not very nice. Not very nice. Anyway, let's move on. I've only had 2 beers. I'm just having some fun. So that's the S&P from the 21-day all the way to a new high. The Q's made another new high. Look at that. Got above 327. Oh wait, is that how high I got today? Holy cow! Did you put that there, Red Pup? Look at that. Red Pup's already putting some pivots in. He's learning. You guys are getting a lot more information. You'd be very happy. The amount of charts you're getting in the morning. Back in the day, Redler All Access 1 year ago, maybe I posted 12 to 13 charts and they came out like a 9-12. Now you're getting like 15 to 25 charts before I do the morning call 10 minutes later, around 8:10, that you could digest and figure out how you want to approach it. So, you guys asked and we delivered. You wanted more, and we're trying to give you guys as much as possible, so this way you can make a living, provide for your family, so you can have some fun. That's what, and that's what life is, a little bit about fun. Is it fun? I don't know why I love Barat. Anyway, a little extended, so I would be a little bit careful now. IWM, I've made some money, sold some calls, a little cute short, covered it though. I just probably could have been short, so what I like to do is I like to sell some calls higher when I think it's super extended. This morning I said, hey, small caps led the past few months, but might lag a bit now if tech gets some flows. It's just a thought. Remember I said little things mean a lot? Well, that thought probably meant a lot if you stayed away from that. So anyway, the banks below the 8-day. I guess you have to be a little careful here. I did buy some JP Morgan today. Maybe these see the 21-day. The earnings were pretty good. It had a big move heading into. Sometimes they sell the news. Sometimes they sell the news. You heard the phrase "sell the news"? Well, that's what they did with Goldman Sachs, which couldn't work its way down to 280, and that's what they kind of did with J.P. Morgan. I bought some J.P. Morgan though, just because I feel like it was easier. I'm like, I could buy this dip. I didn't chase it up there. I actually made money short Goldman, but this went to 142, so I'm like right around. Where was I buying? At 136. I could buy some because. No, I bought it 134.75. Anyway, this gap could get filled, but I'll be comfortable buying a little bit, maybe in the hole here around 132 if that's the case. Small. I started small. Anyway, that's the rotation, right? The barbell approach. Go with this. I'm kidding. That's what Stephanie Link always says. The barbell approach. Meanwhile, Stephanie Link used to come to my morning call. If you Google Scott Redler and Stephanie Link, you'll see the two of us behind a pedestal that was T3 back in the day when I used to have a whole elaborate morning call and recap in my studio with. I had Alex Steele, Alex Steele's on Bloomberg. You know Alex Steele, blonde hair, the funny glasses. No, don't tell her I said that. But we were on the morning call together for 3 years, and now she's she's demand and respect over at Bloomberg. I'm proud of her. She's the anchor of the morning show. Stephanie Link, she left thestreet.com and she was on my morning call. She didn't know what a chart was, and now she's, fast money every which way. Lindsay Bell, oh my God, Google Scott Redler and Lindsay Bell. She looked like she was 12 years old, and now she's like, she's like the major prestigious guest. She's doing a good job. I did a little bit of training back in the day. Anyway, you need to have somebody in the morning that comes in that doesn't give you a hard time, because you can get that from your wife. No, I'm kidding. She never gives me a hard time. In the morning you have all the positions, so a lot of them. Remember Brittany? Brittany was great too. And now here you are just with me. Some people like it. They like, you get some more granular back and forth. You don't need the fluff. I would used to write down like a plan to give me questions. So Scott, no. Anyway, we're moving on. I bought a little of this, JP Morgan. So Netflix, going into Netflix, I was like, maybe Netflix will wake up the sector. We bought a call spread. I didn't hold the call spread into tomorrow. I managed it today because I was only losing $3. So we wound up making $24 from 3 on half of the call spread. Netflix wound up holding where it had to, but I just felt like it was, it was the right thing to do for me. Maybe not for you. You're like, hey, you know what? It's hard to make 3 points, and it held in here. You can now move this a little bit lower, like that. So today's low is your new point of reference. Went to 570, so it kind of got below 572, 575. Shook the tree a little bit. Shook the tree. Is that a tree shake? I don't know. How would you think a tree shakes?
I would be like a tree and like.
Oh, kind of wave around.
Yeah.
So Red Pup would go like this. He wouldn't go like this. Anyway, so we got 570 is now this spot. We'll say, hey, maybe we get a bull flag. Wouldn't that be nice if it hovers above side 570 for a while, and then all of a sudden takes out 593? Because if you think it's going to 600, it's got to get above 593. If you if you think it's going to 600, it should hold 570 and knock it down to there, but we'll see. So I bet you it closes above 575, but I don't care. You know what? $1,500 in the scheme of, so all I had is 10 calls. So I wound up being like a $20,000 trade, which is nice. So now I have $20,000 to use for 4 different plays and burn that money. No, I'm kidding. But that's usually what happens with earnings plays. I like earnings season, but I don't really like it. I like when there's continuity. What happened?
Phil's leaving.
Later, Phil. So this was what I said prior. So with that being said, I'm like, okay, if Netflix could break out above this range, we got to go with Amazon fast, and we went with Amazon fast. I had a good sale today. Amazon, I bought the 3400s for like 40, and I sold some at 80 and some at 95, figuring that here is some resistance. Earnings aren't until the February 2nd. It's January 21st, so there's some time. But I put on half my call spread, just half of a lotto spread, which we'll get into. But for now, where to get to? Went as high as 33.48, so it's good to know where resistance is. Good to be realistic on what things could do.
updated guidelines for primary prevention of cardiovascular disease.
No, here is no, this is a little bit higher. See, now I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back to 32.80, which isn't a lot, 25 points below. So if it was down 25 points tomorrow, I'd probably be buying Amazon to go from red to green, but we'll see. And I'm going to wait a little bit before I buy the other half of my call spread, because the only thing I care about is if Amazon announces a 10-for-1 stock split and it goes up 400 points, which would be the same percentage as Netflix went up, and that would take out this 3,500. You have from 2,900 to 3,600. That gets you 4,000. So a 36 by 37.40 call spread that would cost $20 to make 120. What I'll probably do is I'll have 10 on. So I'll be risking 20 grand to make 120. Or maybe I'll just do 5 and risk 10 to make 60. Maybe you could just do 1. It all depends. I don't know. We'll see how we are when we get there. But I made some money selling puts yesterday, and I made really good money from 40 to 90. That made back some of the other options that I tried in here that weren't so great. And then maybe I'll do it again for next week. We come in a little bit tomorrow. Hey, maybe I'll sell some puts for next week because it's not coming out with earnings next week. It's the week after. We'll see. Or I'll buy it. Apple. Woo! You know that I love Apple. Here's my Apple. Here's my other Apple stuff. Every single person in my family has this. I'm sure everyone in your family has this too. I was telling them they should take these things and make them like purple and gold and silver. Oh, the music's playing. And all that stuff. So then all of a sudden people have 3-4 pairs. Like little teenage girls that go to school, they would, instead of having white ones, they would have like 4 different pairs, and it would be like accessories to their outfits. Somebody tell Tim Cook he should hire me. No. Or just, you should do that. Anyway, we'll see what happens here. This is one end of the channel. This is a bigger portion of the channel, and this is in the higher end, so I might need a little bit of a rest for now.
Do you want to know something interesting?
Sure, Red Pup. You want to tell it? Want to tell everybody?
If AirPods were its own company,
if AirPods were their own company,
they would be in the top 30 largest companies in the world.
They would be in the top 30 companies in the world. That's why Apple is Apple. Services, accessories. Yeah. People were making fun of me with those things hanging out, remember? And now I can't even talk to my phone. Like, this is too hard, right? Do you talk like this? I can't talk like this.
I just have my AirPods.
You have your AirPods, right? If I'm supposed to call my wife and I had all my AirPods, I'm not calling her. No way. If I had to call Red Pup, I'd be calling him in a second because it's probably very important. But anyway, the AirPods revolutionized some things. So they say, oh, you know, Apple's not revolutionary. Okay. Anyway, quality, dependable, Apple. Let's send that. That could be a commercial too. Apple, quality, dependable for the things you use in your life. What do you think?
Pretty good.
It was good. Was that a teleprompter? Okay. Anyway, so we'll see what happens there. Facebook, I missed the whole thing. Got through 270 so fast, and now it looks like it's on its way to 280. If you saw the relative strength on Friday, you made some good money. Not me. It's fine. I didn't have any FOMO there. Let's move on. SPACland. SPACland's a little bit crazy. Some of them are still working. Some of them still going. So I don't know what Open did, but I sold my Open today because I bought it 3 days ago. It had a nice move. What did Open do today? I sold it well. I bought it here, added, sold it. Some people, so now I'll be buying it in here for maybe another move. What are they saying?
Certain model year 2006 to 2012 vehicles, action will affect about 2.7 million vehicles in the U.S. and about.
What company was that? 2.7 million vehicles? What did they say?
I didn't get the company.
Estimated to be around $610 million.
600.
Reflected in Ford Q4 2020 results, where it says expected
Ford.
for the pre-tax measurement loss in Q4.
All right, I sold most of my Ford, so I don't care what happens right now. Or maybe I should just sell the rest of it. Hold on.
EV plans. Ford says expect underfunded status for pension and OT EV plans to be about $6.7 billion and $6.6
All right,
billion.
get rid of my Ford at 1150. If I sold some at 12, it's fine. Ford. Slightly lower. I think at this point they don't care. They're just doing a little bit of everything. Hammering on the move. Okay, let's go back. Let's get back. We're having fun. So open is hanging in here. I bought it here, added a little bit, sold it, and if it opened lower, I would trade the range. Trading the ranges in these SPACs have been better lately. My best one that I made the most money on today was IPOF. IPOF I bought yesterday. I bought in here. I added yesterday, and today it had a move. I sold some. I'm still in some. My other SPACs weren't so great today. Okay, some people are like, "What's the matter with INAQ?" I'm like, "Well, we started buying INAQ here, added, sold, held, waited, bought some on this day, added a lot, added more, sold some, hung around, bought more, sold some. I did get to sell some above 18, so now it did break below 1680. It's below the 8-day, which isn't the end of the world. Last time it held at 21 days. So to me, I'm hoping it holds, this spot. It shouldn't really come much below there. If you draw a little trend line, which these things don't follow 100%, they're still in their infancy. But I would think this spot should be buyable. What's this, 1655? I'm gonna, right now I have more than I had on this day here, and I'll probably have more if we get to here, which is 16. Really shouldn't break 16 though, I would think. I don't know why it would. If you do remember, I've done this a bunch of times. When I did this with LGVW because I had a thesis on it, but I was right. It's more of an opinion. That's an opinion. I also did it on IPOB before it turned into open, but that was an opinion. And then I also did it on IPOC and I got crushed, so it happens. And I also did it with NOVs. So if you remember LGVW, first time we sold it into here. And then I remember it was coming in, and guys, actually no, here I started buying it on this day, I added on this day, and then boom, I bought, sold some, started buying. Anyway, not a great what's the word, comparison. But now this actually looks like it's going to make higher highs. I trimmed a little bit into strength, so I have less of this that looks better than INAQ right now that's pulling in. But that's been the way to do it, as long as you're right and they make higher highs. Because, I like this company. I like Metromile too. I also like, I guess I'm giving this the benefit of the doubt because I figured Goldman Sachs is going to have some kind of company that comes in that's, eye-popping. So if you remember in here, I was buying a lot of it. I added, sold some, added, sold some into that spike, bought a lot, sold some, and then I started buying again here. So I have more today than I came in with this morning. So than yesterday, I guess. And if it happens to come into here, I'm probably going to have too much. And if it fails and all of a sudden it has a bad company and people don't like it, then I'm going to get hurt. Something just came out. Did something just come out?
There's gas still spiking on that TGC.
Which one? No.
Let's go.
Nope. So anyway, I would think this shouldn't really come into here. And guys, I got hurt. I had a false sense of security on this GXGX. I remember, we played the move, sold some, bought some, sold some. I started buying it. I'm like, I'm great. And then that happened. I wasn't like I'm great, just like this is great. But anyway, so I do think it's been a while, right? From September, right? September, October, November, December, January. 5 months Goldman Sachs has been, trading without anyone knowing what they're going to have in there. So I would think that they're pretty damn close. So you're getting some volume spikes or some people buying into it. So they probably don't want it to run before the company because they probably want it to have performance once they announce the company. If it runs too far, it's going to be hard. So they like to have it marked. So maybe that's the reason why. Anyway, so I will be buying into this spot, which is different. But that's also above the 21 day. Or maybe we get a red dog reversal where it trades below 11.97, comes back above it. I treat these SPACs a little bit different. They're like longer term investments because they don't really trade like, sometimes they trade through points. It's great, but sometimes they don't. Moving on, JMIA. a little tricky. This was tricky today. It looked like it was going to fail. And guys like, are you going to hold it? It went through 42. I'm like, you know what? The 21 day is down here. I keep selling strength, not buying strength, because I think it needs some time. So I stayed with it, and I'm still with it. And I do think at some point it gets above this. I bought a little bit into the close, and now I'm getting close to where I would buy some strength for it to break out above there. But we'll see. By not buying strength, it's helped. Few other like one-off plays. The CBAT, I'm in a little bit hanging here. So this way, if it were to get above this, I would be in it. I would see it. Some people really like this stock for their batteries, whatever you want to call it. It's come a long way, but it's consolidating. Looks pretty good. So I'm in that one. That WWR that we had, that was a really nice play. If you remember, we bought it. This was like the day one's too big. Stayed with it, bought more, sold some, and now let it go sideways and pack and fill, and maybe it gets above this at some point. We had a decent day trade in QS, right? Haven't looked at this in a while. On on the loudspeaker, the guy's like, hey, I'm seeing big call sweeps for the 60s or 65s. Last time that happened was, I don't remember where it was. It was down here and went all the way back to 70. So now I was like, all right, take a look. Maybe we get a red dog reversal around the 48 pivot. So, and it started acting better, and wound up making really good money day trading this by buying the 47s, adding the 48s, sold some, and then it hovered while I was actually, I was taking a Peloton class at home. I saw it down 50 cents, and I'm like, you know what? This thing's going to take out 48.50. If I was in my desk, I would have bought friggin' thousands of shares. Instead, I called the trade desk, might buy me some. All of a sudden, 3 minutes later, I look, it's green, and it's at 49 and change. I'm like, oh, why couldn't they have done that the first time? But at least I revisited, and at least I added. And then I sold some above 49.5, sold some above 50 and change, and now I'm sitting in a tier 1. Hopefully, it gets a little bit of follow through. After a move from 132 all the way down, you would think that this could be a decent level. Right, Red Pup?
Mm-hmm. I saw you tweeted that out.
I did. Gave everyone some beer money or wine money, whatever it is you drink. I'm drinking a little light, slidey mighty. It's like kind of like the Michelob Ultra of those kind of beers. So cheers.
The Post says McConnell told GOP wants to delay.
Washington Post says.
February.
Anyway, what else do I have on? HYLN, kind of a pain in the ass, but my little red dog sense is telling me that there's going to be some kind of something coming out with that. And I'm not saying I know anything, but it feels like, this name was really good to us. It had a really big move, if you remember here, spectacular. Then it changed with your red dog over to sell. Then it broke the 820 with that. And then we played, remember from here we played a broken bounce. And it came down, and then it was like December was just a tax loss selling vehicle where everyone was just selling the piss out, selling it. And then now, if you look, you look at it, it's building this little lower range. I guess you have to raise this now up. It feels like it's going to get to this spot, I would think. People loved it a lot higher. So down here, people have memories. If they get out of it the right way, which I got out of it the right way, I'm approaching it now here. Maybe just don't get too much size. Buy it. Use this as a stop. This is 16. If it gets above 18, 15, maybe it tries to test into the moving averages. NKLA was kind of like the similar position. Got sold. People hated it. People lost a lot of money, and then all of a sudden had a big rally because there was no more tax loss selling. I don't know where NKLA is right now, but down here I was looking at the same kind of trade. It got above 16 and went as high as 22. Now this looks decent again. But this is just like a lower level broken bounce. I call it the treasure for trash trade because it's someone else's trash. Someone else held it and they held their nose. They went underwater. Not us. We don't do that. So we're approaching it, and I think there's a setup there. So we'll see. Tesla I lost money on today.
FH.
Still hanging in here.
Western Private Financial Holdings reporting 30 cents. The estimate was 17 cents for BTFH.
So I lost money here. I bought it pre-market. I had a little FOMO today. Yeah. First time in a while. Still just hanging here. I don't have a call spread for next week. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll look at it tomorrow. Maybe I'll spend $3 to $5 grand just to be in it, just in case, which will keep me from shorting it. But I just feel like, yeah, they can have a solid report, and I'm sure the deliverables, and they'll talk to batteries. But there's no split that's coming, and there's no S&P. It's already all done. But I guess there was none of that either on this move before consolidating. But yeah, we'll see. And then you had these two little, Chinese names, because everybody was all, kind of yelling at me. Look at the size of this moving tiger. I can't believe it, Red Dog. You had it. I did have it. I had it from here. I was buying it in the 7s. I remember people on the first trip like, why are you buying this thing? I'm like, well, it's a Chinese, fintech, blah, blah, blah. It was an IPO. If you look at the IPO, it was broken. It got hurt. And then all of a sudden, got rebuilt. So I was buying it in here. My friend who I do the monthly investor calls, Annabelle, I remember talking to her about it. I'm like, guys, when it was down here in the 2s, I'm like, people think this is a sham. She's like, it's not a sham. I have a lot of friends that work for the company. It's one of the biggest companies in China. I'm like, oh. So I started to think about it, and I looked at the chart. I'm like, oh. And then, oh my God. Now it's right back to here. I am not in it. Red Pup tried to make me feel guilty about it. And like, don't you feel bad about not being in it anymore? It's kidding. It was a likely question. It was fine. Where's my dead squirrel? Her name was Squiggly, by the way. I came home from a soccer game. I think I was 14 years old, and Squiggly was dead. Wasn't a great day. Nope. What happened was the squirrel fell from a tree. My dad loves animals. We put the little like a stint, nursed a splint, not a stint, right? A stint is for the vessel. So put a splint. So, and the squirrel was a baby squirrel, and then the leg got better, but the squirrel loved us like a dog, and all of a sudden, I was the coolest kid in town. I was walking around with a squirrel on my shoulder. And I said, what the hell are you doing with the squirrel on your shoulder? I'm like, well, we nursed it back to health. My dad put splint on the leg, and we've been feeding it. And I took it to school for show and tell. Walked to school. I was a walker. Lived too close to school. And anyway, after 7 months of having the squirrel, I came home one day, and all of a sudden the squirrel was passed away. So I was a little upset. It took me a little time. So every time you want to mention a stock that I should still have been in, why don't you just talk to me about Squiggly? Anyway, moving on. Oh, so this was Tiger. So this is Squiggly, all the way up here. So, it could continue up to there, I guess, but I would be careful buying it. So some guys were like, what's next? So we do have a few Chinese gentlemen on the chat room and brought up, well, take a look at this BQ. Not quite the same thing, but I had a nice move, not as extended as Tiger, but this was a nice move. Went as high as 1040. I would think, at some point this takes us out, So it did clear this spot, and now it might need time before going above it, so don't have too much shares, but looks pretty good. You can do your own homework on it. Then there was another one that they brought. This one looks like it can go a little faster. This is DAU. It's like a search engine in China. Look at the size of this candle today into resistance. Sometimes it goes through it. Sometimes it doesn't. But this is a nice day one. If you wanted me to say what this says, UDAO. Did I say that right? So this is your spot. Maybe even inside day a little bit. Then it goes, or maybe it opens up. I don't know. But that's why I'm in this one too. I don't know enough about it to have some size, but I have enough. AMD. Shares pulling back. It's a nod. That's what the guy's saying. Intel, by the way, released early. It's up 277. This is what happened prior to the close. It's right here now. I haven't been trading it. Then IBM, what are you doing? IBM, I'm not trading it these days either. Not that exciting to me, but you have a nice channel here. So what did IBM do? IBM post earnings is down 7. All right, so I'm glad I'm not in that one. Anyway, if you are, sucks for you. No, I'm kidding. Figure it out tomorrow. That wasn't really nice. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, so where are we? It's 4:50. I'm going to play a song to end.
Are you ready for a couple?
Oh, questions?
Yeah.
All right, bring on the questions. So this is what we're going to be doing at the end of some recaps while the link is posted on YouTube. Red Pup's going to ask me some questions, and if I can answer them, I'm going to answer them. If I can't, I can't. It's the first time you heard the squirrel story? It's a true story. Okay, what's the question?
XPEV.
XPEV. All right. I traded this today. There was some news from Deutsche Bank that they're going to be stealing a little bit of Neo's lunch and Thunder. So I bought some, and overall it's packing and filling and looks pretty good. You know, at some point I think it takes this out. The EV sector is not so hot right now, but I do think it's building. It's above the 8-day. I think it's okay. I would stay long it. Versa level, just be careful adding to it. Next.
CGC.
CGC, I bought the dip today. Oh, a little bull flag. Last time we bought it here, I think I sold it into somewhere. Actually, I think I sold some strength, bought some back, sold some strength, and then I just bought it back because the wellness names have been kind of quiet. So I feel like you have a bull flag. Doesn't look like a bull flag, so I bought some, and we'll see if it continues.
Airbnb.
Airbnb, I got lucky today. Actually, not that lucky because I should have bought the stock and just put a stop in. Instead, I sold puts. So I was like, Red Dog, remember we had such a great trade with Airbnb? I'm like, we did, didn't we? He's like, look how much it's come in. So I looked at it. I was like, wow, it came in a lot. You know, we played it from here. No, we played it from here, and we played it from here. We've been doing really well with Airbnb. I like it. So anyway, you had a Red Dog reversal today. So what did I do? Just so I didn't have to watch it, which I probably should have bought it. I would have made a lot more money. I sold some puts. So which puts did I sell today? You can actually see when it happened. Airbnb, 147 puts. I got short the puts at 11:01. Let's see where the stock was at 11:01. At 11:01, go to the 1 day. 11:01 was right. Move up.
It was at 161.
So, you know what? If I would have bought it at 11:01, okay, I would have put a stop in at the low of the day, and instead of shorting like 15 puts, so sometimes it's better to do that. But sometimes if I just don't want to deal with it and I feel like we're close, I do it the other way. So that's 22 years right there. 22 years. I'm that old. Sometimes it's like pretty surreal when you look at your age and you look at pictures. How old are you?
21.
21! He's 21 years old. The first time I went to Vegas, I was 25. Have you ever been to Vegas?
Not Vegas, but I've been to Las Vegas.
So,
like
not Vegas. That means he went with his family. He didn't go with 10 guys and have a lot of fun and gamble and go to the strip clubs and go to clubs and get bottles and sit at the top and give massage. No, that doesn't happen in Vegas. I don't know. I read about that somewhere. You haven't been to that side of Vegas yet? No. I bet you no one's been to that side of Vegas. You just been to some seminars and some convention centers, but not the other side of Vegas. What's the other question?
Fubo.
Fubo. You can get Fubarred in Vegas, so be careful. Fubo, if I remember, did a little bit of a day one today.
AMC, Alpha Michael
Fubo.
getting a pop here, $3.09. AMC.
Ooh, AMC, that was Hollywood. Fubo. Had a big move, consolidated. I remember gave you day one. It was short-lived, and now it's trying again. I don't own it. I think a lot of people like this. They follow it, but this would have got me in right here. Maybe it can continue a little bit of a higher low to this low. This spot here is 40-40. 40-40. We have another one. This is like a lightning round, you know. It's like red dog.
ZNTE.
ZNet. ZNTE or ZT. Nice move. I would have been a seller today, not a buyer. It's definitely extended. Congratulations if you played it. No setup here, just extended. You know, I would not be chasing up there.
And then let's get GME and then NVIDIA.
GME, kind of like what I said with the Airbnb, it was overextended. Guys were shorting it based on Citron. So I looked at it and I'm like, hey, you know what? Kind of feel safe. Oh my goodness. Maybe I shouldn't feel safe. I saw the move, so I sold tomorrow, actually. Where did I sell? I sold the GME. Did I cover it? Sold the GME 50s. So I sold the GME 50s, I believe, on this day. Now I covered some, but this is a nice looking bull flag. And Citron came out and put a whole presentation on why it's a short. But if this can get above 45.52, they may be in a little trouble. So remind me tomorrow that I might have to buy some if it gets above it to cover what I'm short at the 50s. But still hanging in there. That's pretty impressive.
And then the video.
The video had a strong day. A bunch of guys tried to get me to buy it today. Took out this channel. It's back above the moving averages. I tried to play it a few times. I guess a lot of people tried to play it. By the way, just so you know, ranges are meant to frustrate the God Jesus out of people. So this way, when finally the ranges resolve, everyone's quiet and tired and frustrated, and they don't join in. The market doesn't want you to take the ride. You have to earn your ride. And right now, if this is going to go, this gave you a chance to buy it here, and looks like it's on the move a little bit better. I don't know what it's doing right now with Intel, but let's see right now. Oh, Red Pup's putting his jacket on.
No, I'm just getting up.
5:52, so it's right around where it closed.
I don't want a blood clot.
It's true. You gotta stretch your legs. Get up and stretch your legs throughout the course of the day and stretch. Leave midday, get some fitness in, don't sit around all day long. What else?
You want more?
There are more questions?
There's a couple, but you've been going for 40 minutes already, so.
You guys tired of me? All right, I'm gonna get a song then. Let me hear another. Oh,
I guess one more you could go with is Palantir. And
everyone wants to be long Palantir. I keep getting that, and every time I look at it, I'm like, what school's out? All right, let's do Palantir. It's hanging out. I would just be careful with Palantir. I feel like after the next earnings report, everyone's allowed to sell whatever they got below $10. My friend Joe has a private. That's the reason why I started buying this in here. Remember, we were so big in here. And now it's consolidating, so the funds are buying it, and looks fine. It's consolidating. I would think long term it's in the game. We just have to be careful over the next month. School's not out. It's only friggin' winter time. It's a bad song. Let's go. Oh, this one's better. Yeah, it's Thirsty Thursday. You have to have a good time. Cheers. So it's January 21st. I hope everyone has a good start to the month, the year, the quarter. We've had 1 or 2 days where they, pushed us back a little bit, but we've had definitely enough to do, enough to focus on. Our process continues to work because we're looking at price action. Remember this move?
That's a great move.
I wish I could see you dance. You're laughing at me. I'm sure you're not so good. I used to get paid to dance at bar mitzvahs and weddings. Oh, yeah! But anyway, at this point, so tomorrow's a little bit later. I do a Peloton class. I do about 500 reps in the sauna in the morning. I get in a little later. The note's a little, shorter, and we'll see how things play out. Gratitude for you to be here with me. Remember up there? This is oh, I lost it. Oh, there we are. All right. Anyway, I'm sure you're sick of me. I'm sick of myself. Have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow morning.